person dies, the tears aren't just from the burial, it's from what happens after.
Wakasaya Abusia, but where were you when we cried? Wakasaya Bako, yet you fight over coffin, land and pride. We held his hand till the end, you held his will like it's yours to bend. You call it culture, but it's pain in disguise, and see who really loves and who just lies. Abusuab3nni, Abusuab3nni, we mourn with truth, you war with greed. We carry pain, you carry need. Abusuab3nni.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Abusuab3nni. So on this channel, we talk about the painful experiences that people go through with their families after the death of a loved one. We talk about moments where our grief is not met with the comfort we expect, but with confusion and sometimes betrayal. If you've watched any of our previous episodes, I'm sure by now you know that death does not just leave an empty seat at our dinner table, but then it also changes the family dynamics and sometimes reveal the true colors and intentions of people that were once hidden. My name is Abusuab3nni, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Farida Ahmed, who will take us on a personal journey after the loss of her mother. Farida, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here today. So let's start on a happier note. Tell us about your mother, who she was, and your relationship with her.
Okay. My mother, okay. It's not much to say. So I didn't really grow up with my mom, my biological mom. I kind of met her when I was already older. So, she lived in Italy for as long as I ever knew her, but we kind of built a relationship as time went on. So, personally, even when she died, we were still trying to build a relationship, but I had gotten to the point where I would call her my mom, because when you didn't know somebody very well, you barely would call her a mom, because my stepmother kind of brought me up. So, that's basically it's what I'll say for my mom. But I got to that point where we got very close before she passed. Right before she passed, I live in the US, so she just told me she wanted to go home for vacation, as in come to Ghana for vacation. And she basically told me she wanted to come to Ghana for vacation. And I said, okay to her. So she was like, oh, get me a ticket. Let me go home. And I said, okay, no problem. But she hadn't been home in a while. And it was around the COVID time. Okay. So, that was maybe in February 2021. That was when, yes, she came home. She lives in Kumasi. So she came home, met family and everything. And then it looks like I'm going straight to when she passed. Let me see, the dawn of on the 20th February 2021. I woke up with like millions of calls on my phone. Like everybody that doesn't call me had called me. So immediately I knew something had happened. And I had spoken, I think it was a Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. I had spoken to her on maybe the Wednesday when she was in Ghana. And she was telling me everything that's been going on at home and all that. And then I spoke to a cousin and she told me my mom slept and she didn't wake up. So they literally found her unresponsive.
Okay. Very sorry about that. But with the very short time that you tried to build a relationship with her, what kind of person would you say she was?
I'm naturally sort of a calm person. When I was growing up, I wasn't calm. But growing up, I kind of learned to be calm in a lot of things. But my mom was, I would say, a very hyper woman. Okay. Like you can't mess with her, that kind of woman. Like she will fight my fights for me. Always hyped, always excited about something. Even if she called me and she didn't get me, she was like, "No, my friend was home for no day." And I'm like, "Am I busy with you or something?" Very amazing, sweet woman who she was all about. I was her only child. Okay. She was all about family. She would do anything for her nieces, her nephews, her brothers, her brother. She had one brother, her sister. Even though she was the last born, she was all about family. Me, on the other side, I have other siblings, but with my mom, I'm her only child. But from the time that I knew her, everything she had would go to family. So even though I wasn't so close to her family because I didn't grow up with them, I thought, her family was the center of everything. So let's say, for example, even if she wasn't available or she wasn't there for a time, they would take care of me. That's what the perception I had. Yes. I'm glad I built a bond with her before she passed. I'm glad I got a chance to get to know her because I probably wouldn't. But then I kind of met my mom right before SS. Okay. Yes. And then because she didn't live here, well, then I was in Ghana when I was in SS, and she was still in Italy. So because she didn't live here, we still didn't have the bond of seeing my mom every day. But then we spoke every day. And then every time she visited Ghana before I left, I'll see her. But then for as long as I knew my mom, her family was everything.
Okay. So let's go to the moments where your cousin told you your mother had passed.
I knew something had happened because why would everybody be calling me? Everybody who never calls me. Waking up in the morning to 30, 40 calls on your phone, that's unusual. So I knew something had happened. Even before I spoke to her, my cousin, I picked up the phone. I knew something had happened to my mom. And my mom was diabetic, but she had been diabetic for so long. She knew how to control everything, take her meds and everything. So right then, being in the profession that I am in, also I'm like, diabetes couldn't have killed my mom, but then if it did, was her sugar too high? Was her sugar too low? What was it? Cause she's been diabetic for forever. So sometimes I still wish I did an autopsy to see what killed my mom, because everybody had something different to say.
Okay.
You know, family. Obi Nikuno, Obi Neyese, all that. But then I didn't do an autopsy because I was like, I want her to go in peace. Whatever it is that called her away, she should just go sleep. So I didn't do an autopsy and I allowed her to me, allowed her to rest. My mom died at a very young age. She was 50 something. So she was very young. And I feel like she didn't have to go then because, the plan was for her to come to Ghana, and then after Ghana, she'll come to me in the US. And that was her first time ever coming to visit me. So we were all so excited about that. I just feel like she didn't have to go that young, but then I don't want to dive into the aspects of what took her. Yes.
Now you say she died in her sleep. I just want to find out, was she taken to the hospital where a medical professional pronounced her dead, or straight to the mortuary from the house?
So from what I was told, because I wasn't there, so from what I was told, they actually tried to take her to the hospital, but I think she was already gone before they got there. So when they got there, they were told that she had passed. So I want to believe she died peacefully in her sleep. That's what I want to leave with.
Okay.
I don't want to leave with thinking that she had suffered on her way to the hospital or anything. I just want to have that belief, because grieving is a process. I still feel like I still haven't had the chance to really grieve it. And I want it to be at my own pace and my own time. Nobody should be forced or taught how to grieve. So that's also part of my grieving process, to think that she actually died peacefully in her sleep.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you remember the first thought when your cousin told you she had passed? The first thought in your head, or how you felt immediately you heard it?
When she told me she had passed, like I said, before I picked the call, I knew something had happened. But when she told me my mom had passed, I was very shocked, because I had just spoken to her maybe 2 days before. She had come to Accra, and then she lived in Kumasi, and she had told me she was going to Kumasi. when she gets to Kumasi, she should call me. But I didn't hear from her, but which was normal with me and my mom.
Okay.
We could call each other at any time, any odd time. So it was okay with me. And I'm like, okay, she's not very, strong physically. So if she travels, she takes a journey, she has to like kind of rest. So my cousin said my mom was there, and I'm like, how did it happen? And then that's when she told me that, they found her unresponsive. So they took her to the hospital, and then she was being told that she had passed. For a good minute, I was like, what am I going to do? For a good minute, I was like, what happened? I just spoke to her. So how is it possible that she's dead? You never know how hard death hits till it's somebody close to you. It really, really does hit. And then I started getting calls. Like, I wasn't picking any call because what am I saying to anybody? My dad and I we have our own father and daughter relationship. So my father called me, and he didn't have anything to say because what is there to say? They had told him, most traditions, they don't want to tell you directly. They want to go through somebody to tell you. But before he called me, my cousin had already called me. And this is my cousin from my mom's side that I'm trying to build a relationship with because I still don't know them too well. There's nothing easy about it.
I know. But after her death, at what point did you come to Ghana? Because we know with that part of the world, we don't bury the dead immediately. There's a whole process that we have to go through. So at what point did you come back to the country?
So after her death, usually the tradition is to do a 1 week after for the trees, or let me say occurrence. So they did the 1 week, and during
your absence?
In my absence,
okay.
Yes, in my absence. But then everything had to be based on, the funeral had to be based on when I could make it, because, excuse me to say, she's my mom. I'm her only child. She doesn't have any other child anywhere. And since I wasn't living in Ghana, I had to set the date because I had to work it around my work and everything. And I told them, my membership free to watch it. And who here? Yes, we can pay it. So what? So we're supposed to do it because we can pay it. She has to go sleep. If she's fallen asleep, I still say I try not to use the word dead because it weighs heavy on me. So usually I use sleep. If she's gone to sleep, then why not lay her to sleep then? So, we did the funeral maybe 3 to 4 weeks after she passed. Yes. She passed in, February 20th, and then we did the funeral March 20th, around 20th and 21st. Yes.
But was it met with any resistance when you told them you wanted to lay her to sleep almost immediately?
The family doesn't know me well.
Okay.
From her side. One of my uncles, who is her only brother, tried to also step in to help me with it. So they said, "Dear Farida Bekambia, you did see." So with that being said to me, I thought, oh, this family is going to be very receptive to me. I'm going to come home to Ghana, and then I'm going to bury my mom. Everything is going to go smoothly. I didn't have to worry about anything. So I prepared myself to come home. So I called my job and told them, this is what the case is. Regardless of whatever schedule I have at work, I have to go. So then I had to give myself a little bit of time with work too, and then come. I would always say, during your time of grief, you never know who you will need. I'm telling you, I have 4 brothers. So my little brother is in the States with me. He said he wasn't going to let me come home alone because he knows I wasn't close to my other side of the family. I didn't even know I needed my brothers so much. My friends. I didn't know how much I needed some people that were very, I can't mention names, so I wouldn't mention names, but then I didn't know how much I would need some people that were so close to me, some childhood friends, my brothers. I don't like to call my stepmom my stepmom. I call her my mom. Right from the go. I didn't even know I needed people that much because I'm so used to doing everything myself. I'm so used to going for everything I want on my own. But you never know how much you need people till you really do need them.
So you're in Ghana to bury your mother. You meet the family. What was the initial reception like?
So when I came to Ghana, so we live in Accra, in Dansoman. So I had to use the phrase the word mobilize my family here, my brothers, all my siblings, my closest friends, my mom, so we can go. So I actually went maybe a day before or 2 days before the actual funeral because it was I think the wake was on Friday night into Saturday, and then we had to bury her on the Saturday. So when I got there, so my mom died in I think in her cousin's house, or is it her niece? So I had to go to. When I got to Kumasi, I didn't go to the mortuary. I didn't see my mom till maybe the night of the wake was about to start. So because she had traveled and she had come, they wanted me to go see maybe her suitcase, the things that she came with, her passport and stuff. So then the niece that she was with before she died, my mom took her like her daughter because she's a little bit older than me. It's funny how I know my mom of her life. She's that kind of woman. But even the first encounter with her stuff, you could see that it's been messed with. Things had been taken out already, even before I came. I'm just glad I got her passport, her wallet that still had my childhood pictures in them. That always makes me smile every time I think of it. Phobia now, I barely even got anything, any of her stuff. But that wasn't a bother to me because so how, like, it didn't matter to me at that time or any other time. There was a controversy already. It was already brewing with the family. Because I don't know the family that well. I wasn't comfortable going to sleep in the family house. And my mom, I keep calling my stepmom my mom because that's what I know her as. She wouldn't let me go because she knows I didn't know the other family. So of course she wasn't just going to let me go sleep somewhere that I didn't know. So there was already a controversy of, Kumasina on better fee, more than echo, more watching the free and sim that I fear time I saw so by my channel, marginal. And this is a family that I didn't really know. This is how we started with it. Even before the body was laid, even before I saw the body. So right then, I was kind of on my guard. I didn't know what I was coming to. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I was coming to meet.
So did you go to the family house on the Friday?
Yes, I did. I did go to the family house. First I went to where she died, the room that she went. She passed in. Surprisingly very heavy. Walking into that room was so heavy, as if not the view of her. You could feel the heaviness of the room. So from there, then I went to the family house, and every step of the way I was with my mom, my very close friend from childhood, and my brothers.
Okay. So were you in the house before the body was brought?
So I wasn't there when the body was brought.
Okay.
So I didn't know. There's a lot of tradition that I don't know, but I learned during that process. There was a room in the family house where her body was. I wasn't allowed to go into that room till later the Friday night. So I was with my brothers, my siblings, my close friends, and my mom. When the family pulled me to the side that they needed me alone to come inside into the family house. So everybody else was left outside. So I was with my mother's brother, who's my uncle there. I mean, he's the only one I kind of had a little rapport with. So I'm like, if anything, he's got my back. So I'm like, I'm okay. Even though everybody else that I know was outside. I really don't know a lot of the traditions. So I don't know whether it was right or not. But later on, when my father found out what I went in there to do, he was extremely angry with that side of the family. So when I went in, that was when I was allowed to enter the room when my mom was late. My first time seeing her lying there. I can actually see it right now in my first time seeing her lying there. Lifeless. Not talking to me. She usually calls me Farid. Not saying anything to me. My mom would never see me and not talk to me. My mom would never hear my voice and not say anything back to me. I just saw her lifeless, just lying there. And that was my first encounter with her since I heard that she had passed. So one of her, I think it was her cousin, because I don't really know that side of the family, so I think it was her cousin, gave me coins. Okay. And she said, "Sir, me function alone." And mind you, this is somebody who is dead, so her mouth is stiff closed. They made me put the coins in her mouth, push her in. And she kept telling me, fashion alone. Maybe be a okono, bibi eso okoye biano, onye fama. And I was alone in the room. My uncle there, who was supposed to be my backup, wasn't there. It was just me and my mom's cousin. I'm a very strong person. I stand up for myself a lot. But during the whole process of my mom, I lost it all. It's like I was just being pulled and tagged. Wherever I'm pulled to, I just follow because I was so confused. I was in an environment I didn't know, people that I wasn't familiar with, people that I didn't know except my family from Accra that I went with. So when she told me to do it, I did it. I didn't know what it meant, what it was. And at a point, I'm like, I'm hitting my mom because I'm pushing coins in her mouth. So I felt like, I see me prano, even though I knew that she wasn't there, but pushing that in her mouth, I'm like, I'm hitting her. It was a whole thing that I still haven't gotten over it because I still don't understand the reason why they made me do that. And later on, my father was very angry with it because he's like, they should never have let me do that. So I'm still conflicted as to why I had to do that. Still, and after that, I was made to go sit outside the room where she passed because it was getting dark, and then they had to bathe her. So in the tradition, I guess it's still tradition. The body was brought. So the family house, the gate is closed. The person who does the bathing or the tradition or the rites was there, but they had to bring the body out into the middle of the family house. That's how they do it. Mind you, from my profession, I see death all the time. You can have your guts open and I'll see everything inside and I'm fine with it because that's what I do. But seeing my mother laying there like that was a whole different thing. It was different. It was like, me who will be away won't put her. Laying there with no clothes on, with no jewelry. My mom loved jewelry, with no jewelries on. She didn't have her wig on. She didn't have her makeup on. I'm like, who is this? That's not my mom, but it was her. Once again, the uncle that I thought had my back was nowhere around. It was just women that I didn't know. I guess traditionally they had to come take care of the body, do the rites and everything. Like I said, I don't know a lot of the traditions. So again, I was told that before they bathed my mom, I had to be the first person to bathe her. And I'm like I said, I was like a zombie being told to do what to do, and I'm just doing it. But at that moment, I was maybe one, so I was just there. Then the same cousin who made me put the coins in my mom's mouth. Oh, munjano, the juma oye wa brocheno. Nobody asked me my opinion. Nobody asked if I was okay with it. Nobody asked if I even needed a sip of water. Nobody asked. I've never spoken about this since my mom died. I'm kind of reliving it right now, talking about it. Nobody support shaming him. Any whatever concoction that is used to bathe the dead body. And then I started. And then I started. And then I started. And then they realized that I was doing it, but I started, but I couldn't. So they took it away from me. Mind you, since I was told my mom was dead, till that time I hadn't cried. I hadn't shed a tear. I guess I was so much in shock, surprised. Even at that time, I was still so shocked. I hadn't shed a tear. No tear had come out of me since my mom died. So when I came out from the family, so after that, they realized I couldn't be in there again. So now they took me out of the family house, came outside to where my family was, my brothers, my siblings, my mom, my close friends. And then my mom asked me, then I called her. I couldn't tell her because I was still in so much shock.
Still, at any point in time, resist.
I wish, now thinking back, I wish I had the strength to have resisted. My mom's death made me somebody else because it was so unexpected. She was so young. I didn't think she was going to go so soon. Looking back, I really wish I had resisted at that time. I guess I was in so much shock. I was just going along with whatever they said. The only time I can say I cried or I stood up to things was when we were putting her in the car to go to the cemetery. I lost it. That was when I didn't even know I had a voice. I didn't know I had tears. When I put her in the car, I lost it. I started crying so hard. I started screaming. And as usual, like my brothers won't let anybody come close to me. They won't let anybody come around me. They won't let anybody, any stranger, because to us, everybody else was a stranger but us. My brothers held me back. They held on to me. I realize you don't really know ebusua or family till a loved one is no more.
I'm very sorry about what you have gone through. And I wish I could actually say I can imagine what you went through, but I need you to know that, and everyone watching who has gone through this or about to go through this, that you are not alone. I can actually relate to that part of tradition and culture when it comes to the death of a mother and some of the things that you're supposed to do when the body is brought into the family house. Unfortunately, I ended up in the hospital when it was my time. But then I need you to know, and everyone else to also know, that if you don't do it, they are still going to bury the body. When they tried, I passed out. They took me to the hospital. They were able to bath her. We still buried her. Nothing happened to me. Everyone's living their lives. Very sorry for what you went through. Now, it's the day of the funeral, the morning. There's supposed to be a ceremony where the pastor's coming in and preach and tributes are read. How did it go?
So, I'm just going to track back a little bit and then I'll come back to that.
Okay.
One thing I realized is that before even the body is laid to rest, before even the ceremony is done, before any tributes are read, I had someone coming to me telling me, "Sir, oh, umami dinyo maybe buy na, or not also do anyway, but mommy, tea. Yanka wasn't. She hadn't even been laid to rest. She hadn't even been laid down.
Are we talking about the Friday?
Yes. She hadn't even been laid down, been laid to rest. And then people are already asking for Enyoma also the Bema way, Enyoma a woho, Enyoma that don't even matter anymore. Because she's gone. What do you care?
You came dressed in black, but your heart wore gold. Not for memory, but what you could hold. You spoke loud at the funeral rites, but we stayed silent through the sleepless nights. You read the tribute, we paid the price, now you come